So for today's video, we're going to talk about metric conversion. We're going to discuss units of measure, using the conversion staircase, and converting number examples. So first, let's talk about the units of measure. We measure for distance. That's when we measure what from one place to another. Capacity is the amount a container can hold, and mass is the amount of matter in an object. Now, mass and weight on Earth are the same thing. Has to do with gravity. But
please come to the office. To the office.
But weight is not a universal unit of measure, so we use mass. Now this is the conversion staircase and the different units that we use. These are the largest units of measure and these are the smallest. And it gets a little confusing because the larger the unit, the smaller the number as we move along. So we have kiloliter, hectoliter, decaliter, liter, deciliter, centiliter, and milliliter, and then those beginnings transfer down to the other units of measure. When we move to the right on the staircase, we're multiplying the number by 10 or moving the decimal to the right, however number of spaces we move on the staircase. And in consequence, when we're moving to the left on the staircase, we're dividing that number by 10, which also means we're moving the decimal to the left. Alright, so here's your steps to conversion. First, you want to find your unit on the chart. So you want to find where that first number is, and then the number that you're converting to. Decide which direction and how many spaces. So if I'm going from grams to kilograms, that's my first number. I find grams, and I know that to go to kilograms, I'm going 1, 2, 3 spaces on the staircase to the left, which means that I'm moving my decimal 3 spaces to the left. So my number is actually going to get smaller as I move to a larger unit of measure. Then I find the decimal in the number. And remember, if you can't see the decimal in the number, it's always to the right of the last number. And then I do my conversion, so I move my decimal. So let's try some examples. So first we're going to go from 4 centimeters to millimeters. We're going to see how many millimeters that is. So my first step is I find my original unit on my conversion staircase. So here I am, centimeters, and I'm going to millimeters. So it's one step to the right. So looking at my reference here, I know that I'm going to move the decimal 1 space to the right. So then I need to find my decimal. And it's a whole number, so I know that my decimal is to the right of the last whole number, so I know it's right there. So I'm going to move it 1 space to the right. So it becomes, 4 centimeters equals 40 millimeters. My decimal would be right here, but I don't need to put it there to hold the place. All right, second example. 4.72 centimeters equals how many millimeters? So again, I find my unit on the staircase, centimeters. I find which direction I'm going in and how many spaces. So I'm going to millimeters. I'm going 1 step to the right. So I know that my decimal moves to the right. I can see where my decimal is, 4.72, and I'm going to move it 1 space to the right. So my conversion, 47.2 millimeters. And my number is getting bigger, but my unit of measure is getting smaller. So the next is 422,000 millimeters to kilometers. So I find millimeters and kilometers. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to the left. So I know that my decimal is going to move 6 spaces to the left. I find the decimal in my number. I don't see it here, so I know the rule is it's to the right of the last number, and it's going to move 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my number turns into 0.422. Now I could put the zeros, but I don't need to. I keep going zeros forever. But I see I go from a really large number, small unit of measure, to a small number, large unit of measure. And the last one, 2 hectograms to centigrams. So my hectograms are here. I need to get to centigrams. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the right. So my decimal moves to the right. My decimal is here, and it needs to move 4 spaces. So I can put my 2 down. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. My decimal is now here. So I go from a small number, larger unit of measure, to a large number, smaller unit of measure. And there is a review of metric conversion.